He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello! And welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever. This is the podcast where we talk about every minute of Batman Forever, 1 minute at a time, whether or not you say please. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And I am your other host, John Parker, here on the show that knows we're Bat Minute Forever.
No, I'm Bat Minute Forever.
I'm Bat Minute Forever!
Oh, it'd be great if they did like a Spartacus thing and every other cell started going, I'm Batman, I'm Batman. This guy like there, it's just clearly like the Mad Hatter or someone pressing his face up to the glass or something. Oh, that'd be cool.
To be honest, why wouldn't you do that? That makes perfect sense in the scene as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know. Once
And you could
another thing,
put loads of little used Batman villains in. You could have like Clayface.
Yeah. Oh, it's just one of the many things they could have done with this movie. But
God damn it.
Anyway, we have here a returning guest just from the other day. We have the director of Imitation Girl and the upcoming Lucky. She's a star. It's Natasha Kermani.
Thanks so much for having me back. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Today we're here to talk about minute 116, and that minute begins with an identity crisis, and it ends 1 minute later with a flapping felon.
No.
So.
Flapping felon. I like the way we both went the same route. I wrote down comic capering.
Ooh. Well, just to jump in here, though, because you were briefly touched upon the terrific René Auberjonois in the last minute there. But a little background just on him, as he is such a monolithic presence as a screen actor.
Oh, he's one of them who, even if people aren't like big film sort of buffs, as soon as they see him, they're like, "It's that guy."
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's almost to the point I actually had to go and double check because he's so prolific. I think he had like 208 acting credits or something.
Jesus.
I had to go into
Amazing.
Natasha's IMDb. It's like, has she worked with him at some point? just to make sure that like.
Actually, fun fact, Joe Grafazzi at the top of the film, the security guard who's trapped in the safe with Batman. He and I have worked together. Joe and I did a web series together with Louis Black in New York. So, so I do have a personal connection, but sadly not with René, which would be amazing. But.
I know because we had Lauren on this earlier in the season, and it was weird because it was just like towards the end of her episode. Like, when everything else was covered, we just kind of randomly mentioned him, and she's like, "Yeah, I know that guy." I was like,
yeah, she does. She's the one actually who suggested him for the series. So yes, yes,
crazy.
absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, Joe is amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
She had a whole story about like he took a picture of himself with wearing nothing but a guitar and put it on her phone when she went out of the room for a minute or something. There was a whole big thing she went into. But it was...
He's like a real he's like a prankster kind of guy, but really lovely old school New York kind of dude. I love, it was a joy to work with him.
Yeah, he really made a big impact too, because every single guest we had on at the early start of the movie kept talking about like that security guard guy.
Yeah.
Like he was really going
He's
for it.
so
Like
funny.
he was.
Yeah. My shoes are melting.
And we kind of loved how annoying he was, because that's the point. He's supposed to be like over the top and crazy, like I'm acting like I'm in the '60s show.
That virtual work print. They take out. Oh no, boiling acid. It's like that's classic.
No,
you can't take out insane.
That's part of the fun. That's like, it's going for the more old school feel, and he's nailing it.
Yeah,
Right,
100%.
That and with that very, very silly moment where Robin's like, holy, what is it? Holy blasted metal, Batman. You know?
Oh, yeah. Holy rusted metal. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, it's full of holes and it's metal. You're
That
like,
has
my
been
God.
such a divide. Like, some people love that. Some people really hate that.
I really don't. I'm of two minds about it. We'll put it that way.
Oh. But René here, though, just a little overview of his career, because, like, holy crap, it was a career. But yeah, he was born 1940. He was the son of his father was a foreign correspondent and a Pulitzer Prize winning author.
Ooh.
And his mother her name was Princess Laure Louise Napoleone Murat. And she's a distant relation to Napoleon Bonaparte.
What?
Yeah. So this guy, he is living relative to Napoleon himself.
Oh, that's wild. And that ties together my last couple of weeks, because when it came out, which was recent as of recording, I watched Hamilton.
No, of course.
So
as did I. Yeah.
I'm sure everybody did. And I decided to look up, like, what did Lafayette do afterwards? He ended up getting bloody exiled by Napoleon.
Yeah.
And all kinds of weird stuff. It's like crazy, the odd life he then lives afterwards. And it ties together. There you go. So Batman is one step away from Hamilton now.
Perfect.
Kind of.
I love it.
And also a thing, too, like if big film buffs might recall that Stanley Kubrick had a long-gestated Napoleon biopic he wanted to make.
Yeah.
And it was actually supposed to star Jack Nicholson. So there you go, tying into Batman again.
Whoa,
right there.
Weird.
I'm surprised there isn't. Is there a Napoleon biopic that I just haven't seen? Because I could imagine that being a thing. But it'd have to be 4.5 hours, right?
Oh, I think that was the problem. Like this thing was. I think you can get the script online, but it's probably like 1,000 pages long or something. It's a giant, unwieldy script. But yeah. Anyway, so basically René started off as a New York theater guy, made a big splash on Broadway when he was a younger fella. And then his film debut was in MASH, the Robert Altman classic MASH, as Father Mouquet.
Is it shameful for me to say I've never seen the film?
No, I mean,
No.
I've seen quite a bit of the show, but it was so long ago I can't recall most of it. I'd probably love it more now.
Oh, I kind of wish MASH was like on like Netflix or something. I would totally stick on MASH if it was just there. Like, you know.
Yeah, I would watch it. Yeah, for sure.
Although, weirdly enough, the other day, not to get us off on a tangent, but like as a friend, actually, Fabio, he was telling me like, oh, his favorite show is Malcolm in the Middle.
What?
And he was like, yeah, I watch it all the time. I was like, you are currently watching Malcolm in the Middle. He's like, yeah, I've watched it like a million times. I watch it every day.
Like it's good,
what?
but
yeah, but I was just
Not
like,
that good.
Malcolm in the Middle. It's like I've not thought about it in about 18 years.
yeah.
Like,
It was one of those that when you put the TV on, it's on, and you're like, oh, cool. Like you don't turn over, but
yeah, but he's actively sought it out. Like it's not on Netflix. It's not on Amazon.
he owns it on Blu-ray.
He had to go and like find a way to watch it. It was crazy. But he's like, yeah, I watch it every day. But yeah, of course, the many other things that René has been in. One, he actually narrates the Batman Forever audio novelization. So that Peter David book I've been talking about all damn season, this guy, he'll read it to you, and I think you can get that on YouTube. So there you go. He was actually like one of these guys who was like doing a lot of comic book adjacent work, I guess back in the day when it wasn't cool. In the mid-'80s, he was the voice actor for Desaad, who was an ally of Darkseid in Super Friends. He voiced General Zod in the 1988 Superman cartoon. He's worked then since in Young Justice, and he played Ebony Maw in Avengers Assemble. And it's weird because Ebony Maw's in Infinity War and stuff. And it's like, why didn't they get René to play the part in the movie? Because I get that. He's that creepy guy who can he's Thanos' best mate, basically, who can make things float and stuff.
Right.
So you could totally
He would have been great. Yeah.
But beyond that, then, actually, talking about doing voiceovers for animated things, he plays Dr. March in Batman the Animated Series, and that's the first ever episode of the Batman cartoon show. He was the guy who created the serum that created Man-Bat. You know, him and Kirk Langstrom working together and whatnot, and then he was the one who ended up perfecting the serum and gave it to Kirk and all that stuff. So, but yeah, beyond that, then you got his actual IMDb list. It's just crazy. It's just like The Eyes of Laura Mars, of course, co-stars Tommy Lee Jones. He's in episodes of Wonder Woman, DC, obviously property, Charlie's Angels, which of course redone with Drew Barrymore, who's in this movie, Mrs. Columbo with Kate Mulgrew. Just wanted to mention that one. I keep forgetting that Mrs. Columbo existed as a show.
With Kate Mulgrew, too.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I didn't know about that. That's
me
cool.
either.
But then another Star Trek overlap there, too.
Yeah, of course. Actually, yeah. He's in Where the Buffalo Roam, which is the forgotten Hunter S. Thompson movie where Bill Murray played Hunter S. Thompson. Early 80s film. I remember René's part in it, and he's really cringeworthy because he's like supposed to be a square guy on a plane who gets given LSD by Peter Boyle. And it's just one of those things of like, the people writing this movie, I think they just liked Hunter S. Thompson. I don't know if they've ever taken drugs themselves, but the way they have him act is like, that's not the way you would. Like, he's acting like a cartoon drunk and stuff. It's just really... He's just singing Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds over and over. It's just like really like, it's not a great point in the guy's career. But yeah, 10 Speed and Brown Shoe with Jeff Goldblum. He's in classic stint on Murder, She Wrote, where, of course, any guest star in Murder, She Wrote will reappear several different characters, and they'll just not mention it's the same person over and over again. He's Police Academy 5, Super Ted... He was in The Little Mermaid. He's in Star Trek 6, and of course went on to play Odo on TV for many, many years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the Men in Black cartoon, so Tommy Lee Jones tie-in there again.
Oh, I forgot there was a cartoon.
The cartoon was really good as well. I remember really, really enjoying it. Classic for my purposes. He's also Frasier Crane's mentor in episodes of Frasier, where there's one where like he ends up shacking up with Roz. And then Frasier comes around to see her, and then René Auberjonois comes out in this little silk nightie. And it's like, Frasier, what are you doing here and stuff? And then Frasier can't not, every time he sees him, he keeps picturing him in the little silk nightie and stuff, and he's just really weirded out by it.
Oh, I could totally see him being like one of Frasier's teachers, almost, yeah.
Although it's a bit weird, because like, aren't those guys like around the same age? But
I don't know. Was he a bit older?
I think so. A little bit.
But one thing I only discovered from looking into this is that apparently he also did the voice of Peter Parker in a rock comic. Which is apparently in the 70s, way back before, I think even potentially even predating the Superman movie. Marvel released a rock comic called Spider-Man Beyond the Grave, which was an LP that was a musical, basically, with songs written by a band called the Web Spinners, which was actually the guy who was the frontman for the Archies. And basically,
this sounds so familiar. Yeah, Beyond the Grave, right?
Yeah. And apparently, like what you get is the album cover would fold out into like a word bubble-less comic strip, and you'd look at the pictures as the story of the record went on and stuff. And like it has lyrics like crawl like a spider, love like a man. He's a product of the American dream, a sex machine, makes all the young girls sigh. And it's like, I ain't the Spider-Man I know. But apparently a lot of people have a lot of love for that. And particularly René's version of Peter Parker from the 70s.
That's cool.
And there's actually just the final thing, because I remember we brought it up last year, and I still really, really heavily recommend it to people. Because he worked with Robert Altman, obviously, on MASH, and McCabe and Mrs. Miller. But he's also in Brewster McCloud, which is a bafflingly weird movie.
I think I watched that when it came out, maybe. How old is it?
Oh, no, it came out in like the 1970s.
Oh, it's not the one I'm thinking of then. I'm thinking of a different one. I might have seen it, though, but... Yeah,
I think we talked about it last year because it has Mike Murphy.
That's it. We talked about it. That's why it's on my brain.
Yeah, it's not Mike Murphy from RT's Winning Streak. It was acclaimed character actor Mike Murphy. But yeah, the guy played Mayor Roscoe Jenkins. And throughout the whole movie is about... I don't know, have you seen Brewster McCloud, Natasha?
I have not. No, I don't know what that is.
It stars Bud Cort from Harold and Maude and stuff. And he's a guy who's obsessed with building wings so he can fly. And it's the screen debut of Shelley Duvall. Apparently Robert Altman just saw her and thought like, holy crap, she looks incredible. I need to put her in a movie somehow. And so he just gave her a part in this. So she's the love interest in Brewster McCloud because she's so sort of unique and striking looking. So Shelley Duvall, of course, we covered Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater in one of the Patreon episodes, and she was in The Shining with Jack Nicholson, so it's all connected.
I want to go back and do more of those.
Oh, I think we definitely can. I'm fairly certain we can find other connections.
Wow,
but yeah,
she's so young. She looks like a teenager or something almost.
She's really cool as well, though. She's got a real psychedelic dress sense and stuff. It's like, I get why. If you saw her, you're like, oh yeah, she just seems like a someone I want to get involved with.
Yes.
Yeah, but throughout that movie, it keeps cutting back to René Auberjonois as like a college professor dictating to the camera about like the wingspan of birds and stuff. And as he keeps cutting back to him, he suddenly starts like sprouting feathers, and then midway through he's like flapping his arms. Actually, ironically enough, a bit like Edward Nygma in this very minute. And by the end, it's kind of implied that like he's turned into like a bird. And the whole movie's bonkers. Like, it's a really, really strange film.
I'll have to check that out. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, can't recommend it enough. But yeah, Brewster McCloud, and that is but scratching the surface of the career of René Auberjonois. But there we go. He's tragically, we would have had more of him had they kept in that deleted opening. But I appreciate what we get from him here with his.
He'll always be Odo. He'll always be Odo to me, but it's true. He has a wide and varied career, for sure.
Yeah. But, of course, yeah, so the revelation, though, he is here to tell Chase is that, like, Edward Nygma believes he knows the identity of Batman. And, presumably Dr. Burton knows that Chase Meridian's really horny for Batman. So she must be like, I got a lead for you, Chase. You can track this guy down now. But yeah, so she and Chase then trepidatiously approaches, with some hesitation, the door of Nygma's cell, and I just love all this as well. There's like this creepy build-up.
Yeah, then, like she looks terrified. Like, oh God, what's he said?
Yeah.
And this sounds weird, but we get a good long look as she's standing there and approaching and stuff at Nicole Kidman's front teeth. Right. Now I'm into teeth that are weird and quirky. I like weird mouth things. So I'm digging the big rabbit teeth.
Yeah, she does. And they always do her lipstick in such an odd way. I've always thought the way they do lips, for some reason, it's like very... it's like full around the corners of her mouth.
Yeah.
It's such like a specific thing. But I remember I first noticed it, I think like in Moulin Rouge or something, there's all those close-ups of her. And it's just such a strange choice. But I think it's because she kind of has that like upturned upper lip. It's a little rabbity. But
yeah, it's an illusion of a full lip.
Yes, they're trying to fill it out or something. Mm-hmm. But I mean, look, she's gorgeous, but it is something that I'm always like, why are they doing her lipstick like that? It's a little strange. But...
It's the drag method. That's what you do. It's the illusion.
Yeah, but just let her lips be what they are. She's one of the most beautiful people in the world. Just let it be. But
I think in this scene particularly, she looks like the most like femme fatale. Yeah, Veronica Lake-ish she's looked like the whole movie almost. So I don't know that they're going like, oh, this is the way they would have done it back in like, 1945 or something. They would have had lipstick done in this fashion, but.
Well, it's very noir. It's a very noir sequence. It's very slow pacing. You have the crazy shadows. I guess there's some sort of a fan in Edward's cell.
Yeah.
Because something is like rotating the shadows around. So it feels very sort of like, old detective noir, which is fun.
I think it's just because they just used the same set, but I'm always wondered if they're trying to imply, because we had the deleted opening where you saw there was a big fan, because they go into Two-Face's cell and he's got like a guard, trapped up, tied up by the fan and stuff, and there's a hole drilled in the roof. But it seems to be like the same corridor. I'm always like, are they trying to imply that he's been put in Harvey Dent's old cell? And like, is that the dripping is because like, yeah, there's still like a hole in the roof and stuff. We didn't fix it that well.
Maybe.
And I love the way she like approaches Edward's cell and says, "Do you remember me?" Because I'm assuming she's asking in case like the meds have done a bit of a number on the old noggin. Because he's not likely to forget her otherwise, is he?
I think that's you nail on the head there, because she raises her eyebrow like, "Do you remember me?" Like as if like, "Oh, this could be trouble."
Yeah.
And then when he's like, "How could I forget?" She has a kind of thing of like, "Oh crap!" Like this could be trouble.
Yeah, that's worse actually. If he didn't remember her, in a way, that's better.
Although it bugged me when she's like, it's me, it's Dr. Meridian Chase. You could be like, I know a Dr. Chase Meridian, but
why does she say her name backwards? That's so strange. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I would get it if there was a pause. Like, you might go, Dr. Meridian Chase. Like, you throw that in, like, oh, yeah, you know me as Chase. But she doesn't leave a pause. It's like, Dr. Meridian Chase. It's like,
he genuinely could be like, I know a Dr. Chase Meridian, but I don't know a Dr. Meridian. Or even, remember the friggin' when he had her in the tube, he's like, Dr. Chase Meridia. Like, Meridia? It's a Meridian, for Christ's sake. So he's like, I know a Dr. Chase Meridia. I don't know a Meridian Chase. I'm sorry.
Oh, but she is worried. Like, he claims to know who Batman is. That's a concern. Like, even if he's crazy, even the suspicion being thrown on Bruce could cause a lot of problems.
What do you guys think of the delivery though? Because Jim Carrey, he can turn on a dime. So to me it's like it's almost veering into like it should be creepy, and it is, but he also has this who is it? Like it's a little silly, and it's like
it's gone full like Mask and Ace Ventura. Yeah.
Are you a fan of Jim Carrey at all, Natasha? Do you feel if you?
I am. Yeah. I just think he's really funny because he's such a psycho. But I understand people who are irritated by him. But I grew up on like Ace Ventura and The Mask and all that. So yeah.
Would you have any idea as a professional director like how to tame the beast of Jim Carrey while he's on set though? Because it's like.
Honestly, I think it's impossible. I think that's just I didn't actually watch that documentary that came out about him as they were doing Man on the Moon.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't actually watch it, but I think that sort of outlines sort of how off the deep end he can go. And I think he did have a reputation, I think, of being pretty problematic on set. And so I think Tommy Lee Jones like couldn't stand him or something. I'm sure you guys know the story. I'm sure he's just it's like lightning in a bottle, and I think you probably just like uncork it and hope for the best. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you have to have a relationship with somebody like that. I don't think you could just meet. Sort of such a wild performer like that on set for the first time and expect to really get that deep with him. But I think with somebody like that, if you were able to build a friendship or a relationship, then you could have sort of the real conversations, because I think somebody like that needs he's not just going to take direction, he's doing his own thing. He's an artist in his own right. So I think you need to have a relationship and be like, this is what we're trying to go for. Let's explore this. Let's do this. And I think somebody like that needs trust, So I can imagine just being a director or showing up and just meeting him. No, what are you going to do? You can't, you can't suggest stuff like that to Jim Carrey. So also this is his height. I think this is like the peak of his, or we're sort of in his heyday, right? Like the
Definitely.
90s. So he's just, you're hiring Jim Carrey. He's going to do Jim Carrey. So
that's why you hire him, to do this shtick, right?
I think he's brilliant. I mean, I just think he's like one of those people that's bordering on like performance art. I don't know how he moves it. Like the things he does with his body and his voice and his face is just like insane. Is really kind of cool to me. But specific to this section, I do think, again, that they're flirting with a real noir, with a real dark, with a real creepy thing, but that they end up, going in a different direction, right? So, again, like later Nolan will come in and he'll take that and he'll tell Cillian Murphy to do it, and actually be scary, and then you get an actual scary scene. But I think this is the intention. I think the intention is for it to be, again, pretty goofy. Who is it? It's very, like, goofy Batman.
Well, then the delivery. I am Batman!
That's the fact, so he jumps out, And it looks like, I don't know if he had, maybe Jim Carrey himself was allergic to spirit gum. He found out after doing the previous makeup test. Because it looks like he had like an old time toothache or something. Wrapped a bandage around his head.
And also, this is a straitjacket, right? Why is it unstrapped?
I don't know.
They wouldn't let you be if you even go in a jail cell temporarily, like if if you're like drunk and disorderly and they lock you away, they make sure you have nothing that you can possibly hurt yourself with. You could kill yourself with these straps.
But then he couldn't do the bat. Then he couldn't do the flapping. The flapping.
Well, I know, but it doesn't make any sense still. Unless, are we to assume he's done a bit of a Houdini? He's got out of the straitjacket, but not fully, because why bother?
I guess maybe he just wants to keep it on to affect the cape, basically.
Yeah,
like he's going for. Though I have to ask though, like, does Dr. Burton know? Is this the only time no one else has said to him, "Please"? Because he does say, like, "I can't tell you if you don't say please." As everyone else been like, "Oh, the hell, I'm gonna say please to some nut job in a cell." So they get Chase Meridian in here. Maybe she'll say please to him. But yeah, because the fact that it's like, "Oh, I'm Batman," he comes out with it so readily. You think Dr. Burton's like, "So you had the hots for Batman, right? I think we got him right here. Like, if you want to go
this
in
is
there."
the guy.
Here he is. Well, do they say anything? I don't think they say anything where they're like, "He'll only talk to you." I don't think there's anything like that, right?
No, I think they just specify, I thank you for agreeing to be part of my consultation. Edward Nygma has been ranting for hours. He knows the true identity of Batman. It's like, there's no indication of like he wants to talk to you specifically. Unless maybe that's supposed to be implied through the consultation, where he's just like, "Yeah, we've got you in to consult because of that."
Right. That would make sense, but otherwise, someone would just ask him. I do think this look with the sort of undone straitjacket that for some reason has like the old 50s style, like Elvis jail cell thing.
It's beautiful.
It is, and it feels like very Tim. This whole sequence feels the most Tim Burton-y, right? Like, and I think that design with the straps and all that, I could see it being one of his little, one of his little sketches with the very goofy kind of old school head bandage and the unstrapped straitjacket. So that might also be part of it.
I think that is kind of a way of honoring Tim. Like, we'll put some stuff in to make you happy. You did some good work.
Yeah. I think, again, it is very telling that Dr. Burton is within Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
This is like, of course, this is his. He wouldn't be comfortable out in like the neon, crazy party town that Schumacher created, but he's comfortable in, Edgar Allan Poe-ish, gothic nightmare Arkham Asylum. It's like that is very much his territory.
Like Tim
with
himself.
all the villains.
Yeah.
But of course, so we get the I'm Batman. And it's one of those things of like the ironing is delicious because, of course, Edward Nygma always wanted to be Bruce Wayne. He always emulated Bruce Wayne. He always wanted that to be his life. And of course, then through sucking in Bruce Wayne's brainwaves, he gets his trauma and presumably has gone through a whole big revolution in his own warped mind. And now he has come out as a crazy, a demented version of Bruce Wayne where he believes he is Batman. So it is just one of those poetic justice kind of things.
I think you're onto something as well, because the Goldsman draft has a little tiny extra bit here, which ties into that, because it goes, a beat. Suddenly, a huge silhouette of a bat appears on the padded wall. Into it leaps Edward, the sleeves of his straitjacket madly flapping like the wings of a bat. So it's just that extra bit, like you see a bat behind him as well. Just reinforcing it.
It's one of those, you don't even know how they begin to help Edward Nygma if he just has no mind of his own anymore. Like he is just like his thoughts are the thoughts of thousands of people in Gotham City. Like they're all jumbled up in there. Do you guys feel like his end, like his fate is like reflective and fitting of the Riddler? And I ask that because usually the Batman villains, the way that they go down is, reflective of whatever their villainous thing is, right? So like Two-Face gets confused by the coins, which by the way, I think is a totally dirty move on Batman's part, and I have a lot of feelings.
It is! Yeah, we hated that.
I hate it. I think it's messed up. But do you feel like this is a good fit for Riddler, where he kind of gets like confused about who he is and all that? Because I'm not sure if I feel like it's the best fit for him.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good question, actually, because I think, like, in terms of the chosen arc they have for Edward Nygma, the character, where it's like, yeah, he wanted to be Bruce Wayne, and now he is, ironically, like, he's got Bruce Wayne's mindset, but he's just completely crazy. That works, but then if you're talking about, like, him as the Riddler, it's like, yeah, shouldn't it be more of, like, solving the mystery of who Edward Nygma is anymore? That's the riddle or something.
Oh,
and they had a line like that. It could have been really, really cheesy, but
no, I love it.
Something a little more circled back to his identity.
I like it though, because his alleged sort of idea in this movie, which granted we don't see enough of, is that he wants to gain information and knowledge and power and all this kind of thing. But it's a bit like, dare I say it, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. He gets too much of what he wants. Like, he wants it too much, it drives him over the edge. He obtains this knowledge and information, but it ruins him. Like, granted, he doesn't get killed by some CGI aliens, but, it's the same deal.
Okay.
That's what she's after in that movie. She wants knowledge and information and all. And they give it to her, but it's too much, it kills her. Because it's greed almost. Greed of knowledge.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it could have been if they had, like, more of an indication that he was getting a jumble of different thoughts, where you'd come out with, like, lines from other people's psyches and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So it would, like, it does seem to, because they're so concentrated on the Bruce Wayne part, it's like, yeah, I guess he's just got that guy's mind mapped over his, but you have to assume that it's everybody's. So yeah, they could have had more of a thing where it's just like, he wanted all the information in the world, but now he's got like a billion thoughts a second, like, coursing through his mind at all times.
Yeah,
so
he can't focus on them.
Yeah.
Right. Right. I guess they were a little more interested in his arc as somebody who wanted to be Bruce, to be Bruce. So that was like more important to them than the Riddler getting lost.
I think the whole movie has been like, I think they just wanted the Riddler as a piece of iconography, because it was a great marketing campaign too, to have like that question mark everywhere. But as we're going through, it's like, well, a lot of his scheme is like from like Hugo Strange storylines and things like that. So it's like maybe even the whole thing of the box is like, that's more of like a Mad Hatter kind of thing to do. That's not like a Riddler thing to do. The Riddler he's not about that, but the Mad Hatter is. But like, so yeah, it could be that they were just more like, we've created this character whole cloth, and we've just so happened to call him the Riddler, and occasionally he'll leave a riddle. But they're not as focused on the whole aspect of, this is a man obsessed with riddles and puzzles and all this kind of stuff.
I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at, and it is. I agree with the Hugo Strange comment and the Mad Hatter and all that. He's a little bit of an amalgamation of all those things. Yeah. I mean, and I think we're so overwhelmed by Jim Carrey that maybe we don't really think about it that much. But with a less engaging actor, I think this character would feel a lot more thin. Maybe.
Yeah.
I have always thought that Aubrey Plaza would be a great Riddler.
Really?
Ooh. Yeah. Now I'm obsessed with her, so that's great for me.
Did you watch Legion?
Oh, I loved Legion. Absolutely loved Legion.
Yeah, so a lot of what she's doing in that, well, I guess spoilers for that show, but she kind of does this creepy villain thing, and she has that weird kind of like long, lanky body. She's a very physical actor like Jim Carrey. And anyway, just planting that in your brains as potential.
Oh, yeah, she does do a lot of that, like very physical with her body, but she has the deadpan Aubrey Plaza face all the time. It was a bit weird. Yeah,
and she's very distinct. I think the problem with the Riddler, right, is you don't want him to be too close to the Joker. You have to make sure that they're like pretty distinct. And I think her, she is a little bit more like in that Riddler universe of like playing a game, like a little a twisty turny game. She would really excel at that. But that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, but I mean, with that, I guess I'm happy to wrap up this minute though. I don't have any notes for the contents of the last 60 seconds. Or
Taps out here.
I think we covered it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she breathed a sigh of relief. I guess that's the only thing we didn't talk about, is she she's very relieved. Yeah.
Like, oh, thank God, he's so far gone, nobody's even going to listen to him.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess maybe she went in thinking, like, if he has asked specifically for Chase Meridian, he's remembered that I'm Bruce Wayne's girlfriend. And so he's brought me here to be like, I know it's him. So these are my demands or whatever. Like, so he can actually, try to blackmail his way out or something like that. But, but yeah, she does very, like, it's a good thing she has her back to Dr. Burton because she's not really been subtle either. Like, she's like, oh my God.
No, not at all. You'd immediately be like, what's going on with you? But while you all mull over what is going on with her, we will head off into the dark, dark night. So join us again on Friday for more Bat Minute Forever.
Next time, Top Secrets! A quack is taken aback by a cackling maniac, but at least the Batman's identity seems safe from attack. But while Gotham's real genius conspires with a big little liar after she's verified the vanquishing of another foe, what cultural artifact could be de-gifted and returned to the Caped Crusaders' most recent resplendent bow? Find out Friday. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.